rehash some old wounds, something that I've been on and on about for a while now, something I've been complaining about for a minute, and it is the state of policing in the United States. We've gotten to a point where the police aren't your friends. They're not here to help you. The only thing they're here to do is write tickets to generate income for the state. And a lot of people sit here and say, that's not true, that's not true, that's not what they're doing. They're doing law enforcement so that we're safe when we go places. They're doing law enforcement so that we're safe when we go to the mall. No, they're not. No, they're not. Look at how many mass shootings happen, and the cops don't show up until 15, 20 minutes later. We had to call the police one time over my neighbor's dog biting me. It took them 20 minutes to show up. What if that dog would have bit me and it was arterial and I was bleeding to death? Well, I'd be dead. They aren't your friends. They're not here to help. They never have been. They never will be. They are. I'm sure there's some of them that try. But I have a video that I want to show that exemplifies my point. Furthermore, I want to talk about some of the laws that are completely unjust bullshit. Now, recently I got pulled over for using my cell phone. It's a law in Ohio. It didn't used to be. It's a relatively new law. But it's a law in Ohio that you're not allowed to hold your phone while you're driving. However, if your phone is in a holder, you can use your phone while you're driving. So the law is not about public safety. It's about, oh, I can write you a ticket for holding your cell phone. We went to court because it was a mandatory court appearance in the county I got pulled over in. It's a mandatory court appearance in that county. We went to court, and the woman next to me told me that she was taking her phone from her window mount and putting it down in the center console. And she got pulled over and written a ticket. She had to pay over $100 in court fees, and she had to take a mandatory safety course. And the safety course is like 2 hours. For taking her phone from the windshield, I don't know if she had a wireless charger or something. A lot of cars have wireless chargers down in the center now. I don't know if she was taking her phone from there, putting it on the charger. I don't know. I didn't ask too much, just because we were both kind of like, this is bullshit. She was like, yeah, this is bullshit. And everyone in court got the same ticket. The judge said, almost everyone here has received the same ticket. You don't see a problem with this? So my ticket ended up costing me $245. I don't have $245. The clerk told me that if you at least make a payment within 30 days, it extends you another 30 days. I don't know how many times you can do that, but that's probably what we'll have to do, because a lot of people in this economy don't have $250 to just throw away on a ticket that they got for no fucking reason. I digress. I want to play this video of a police officer demanding that a man, now this is an old video, this police officer demands that a man take a letter off his window sticker to make it less offensive because the officer is upset by it. The officer is personally offended. So he demands that this man take a letter off his sticker. And when he says no, they arrest him and tow his car.
I got pulled over the same exact spot I got the I Eat Ass sticker made. Seatbelts were on. It's a new truck, so all my lights work. There's nothing wrong with this. Why am I getting pulled over?
Do you have any weapons on you? Step out.
Pulled over, and he walked up.
So immediately pops the door open. You have any weapons on you? This is over a sticker. You don't have the authority to pull someone out of their vehicle over a fucking bumper sticker, my guy.
Hey, do you know the reason I pulled you over? I was just No, why? So your sticker's derogatory, and I was just, really?
I have 4 kids. If my 6-year-old was to look at me and be like, Dad, what does IE ass mean? Okay, I'd be furious.
And then he's like, well, I'm going to take a letter off. I'm like, no, you're not doing that. I just spent $35 on it. I'm taking it off.
I'm going to have you take off one of those letters so that the word...
You're not refreshing my First Amendment right. You're not doing that. I'm going to need a copy of your ID, too.
It's all on that ticket right there. So, all right, hang tight right there for me then.
So the fact that this dude says, yeah, I'm not doing that, good on him. Because enough people don't stand up to the police. And I'm not saying fist fight the cops. I'm saying stand up for yourself. Say, hey, no, this is bullshit and you know it. And if it goes beyond that, stop and fight them in court. Because the more you piss them off, the more they're going to charge you with. And when I went to court and I explained the situation to the judge said, I don't know, man. I don't have the details. You can come back or you can pay the $150 fine. And I finally said, well, you know, coming back is going to cost me a lot more money than just paying the $150 fine. So I didn't get to stand up for myself and say, no, this is wrong. This is unjust. What you're doing here is bullshit. Because at the end of the day, that would have cost me $300, $400, $500, $600. Like the last one of these tickets I got that I fought, and it cost me like $600. At the end of the day, it wasn't even worth fighting. This guy stood up for himself. This guy said, nope, not doing that. This is my property. You're not destroying my property because it hurt your feelings. This guy, 10 out of 10.
Resisting an officer without violence is a first-degree misdemeanor under Florida law, which means it's punishable by up to a year in jail. When I first spoke with Dylan, I thought there had to be more to the story.
So he got back in the car, called a supervisor.
I asked him to take one of the letters off so that it is no longer derogatory, and he is refusing. Is that not resisting?
Well, what are you charging him with?
I'm charging him with obscene riding on a vehicle.
Is it a citable offense, like a traffic citation?
No, it's a misdemeanor. Like it's in the quick reference guide.
There was no alternative motivation for pulling him over. It was purely the speech, and that's what the deputy said himself.
If I would have took that sticker off, I would basically have said, First Amendment, throw the trash. Don't need it. But this is a real issue. Happens every day.
Dylan was entirely justified in refusing.
It says, I eat ass.
So he says, you know, I'm not taking my sticker down. The officer goes and calls his supervisor and says, I'm not getting my way here. I'm not getting what I want. I want to throw a temper tantrum hissy fit about this. And this guy's saying no. What do I do?
Literally it says, all in capital letters, I eat ass.
All right, make sure you take pictures of all of that. Arrest him, take him to jail, tow his shit. That way you can get it off the road, you know what I'm saying?
And that's the response. That's the response. Arrest him.
Just scale back on those.
Quiet.
Fuck, shut up. That's the response. Arrest him, take him to jail, and tow his shit. That's the response. Arrest him, take him to jail, and tow his shit. Because he's exercising his First Amendment rights. How many times do we got to see this? How many times do we got to see these bad cops before people start to put one and one together? Cops they're not here to help you. They're not your friend. They're not your buddy. They're not someone. And I'm not saying be a piece of shit, right? I'm not saying be a degenerate, be a drug dealer. I'm not saying run around every time you see a cop and flip them off and tell them they're fucking dog shit. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when you have to interact with the police, shut the fuck up. Don't talk to them. If they ask you a question, give them yes or no answers. Do you know why I pulled you over? No. Where are you coming from? It's not important. Who's that in the passenger seat? Doesn't matter. You pulled me over. Can you issue me a citation or a warning and we be on our way? Like, you don't have to answer these questions. You know, and every time they ask you 100 questions and they try to buddy you. Oh, hey, how's it going? I'm Officer so-and-so with the so-and-so police department. How are you? Oh, good. How are you? Oh, not too bad. Hey, do you know why I stopped you today? No. Oh well, I got you on the speed camera going 45 and a 35. Oh yeah, I was going a little fast. Bam, ticket, irrefutable. It's on body camera. You just said yes, I was breaking the law. Doesn't matter if it's 1 mile an hour over or 6 miles an hour over. You were still speeding. 45 and a 35 is just as much speeding as 46 and a 35. Shut up. Shut up. Stop talking to them. And here's the thing. The more prepared you are, the less you need them, right? I carry a firearm every day, everywhere I go. I don't need the cops to come save my ass when someone tries to rob me because I carry a firearm. I know some hand-to-hand stuff. I know how to fight a little bit. I'm not a great fighter. I'm not a fucking UFC fighter. If you put me in the ring with a boxer, I'm probably going to get the shit kicked out of me. If you put me in the ring with someone who's boxed for 6 months, I'm probably going to get my ass beat. However, your average hoodlum thug that's just out there looking scary and getting people to hand over their wallets, probably take that guy. Probably be all right. You put me in the ring with someone who's done jujitsu for 2 years, I'm going to get choked the fuck out. Now, there were a couple guys when I did jujitsu. There were a couple guys that have been doing it for a while, and I could not get choked out, but I still wasn't winning that fight. I'm getting thrown around like a rag doll. I'm not getting tapped, but I'm not able to do any better. But my point is, I have the ability to defend myself, even if it's just a little bit. I don't need the police there. I don't need the cops to come save me. What do I need them for? If someone breaks into my house, it's a gunfight. I don't need you. What do I need you for? If one of my neighbors is getting out of line, I can handle that. If I'm at my brother's New Year's Eve party and Uncle Ricky's getting fucking hammered and trying to start fights with people, I can deal with that. I don't need the cops. What do I need you for? What do I need you for? Every time the police are involved, my life gets made worse. Why do you exist? Protect and serve? Really? Because it seems like all you do is harass people, especially the State Highway Patrol. In Ohio, I don't know about other states. In Ohio, the State Highway Patrol do nothing but harass people. New York as well. When I would go to Buffalo regularly to deliver windows, every single day, it was always a Wednesday, every single day that I went to New York, every week on Wednesday, there were times where I got inspected 2 or 3 times a day. And I got inspected one time, I got inspected twice in New York. I pulled over, hit the inspection. I was on a state route. Got on the turnpike. There was an inspection at the turnpike. And I told him, hey, I just got inspected by your guys on this road. Like, you guys just got me. Like, I just cleared the inspection. And then I crossed into Pennsylvania and got inspected a third time. They're not doing it. They're not doing any. What are you doing inspecting me 3 fucking times? So I told the Pennsylvania trooper, I was like, listen, man, I just got inspected twice in New York. Okay, the first guy went through the whole thing. It took me like 45 minutes. The second guy, he just did a light check and made sure we were good to go. And I asked this guy, I'm like, can I just go? Like, you got me 3 times. And he's like, we'll just do the lights and stuff real quick. We'll do the lights, kick the tires, and you'll be good. And I'm like, cool, thanks, man. Because, 3 times is ridiculous in one day. But my point is, you've got 6 cops sitting there inspecting trucks. Meanwhile, there's 100 cars blowing by at 90 miles an hour. But it's about public safety. You got to make sure the trucks are safe. But the guys blowing by at 90 to 100 to 115 miles an hour, boys will be boys. We have cops abusing flock cameras to spy on their exes. Boys will be boys. It's it's a point where I'm so tired of people going, oh, well, we need police. What for? What for? On a day-to-day basis, what do I need the police for? Not a whole lot. In an extreme emergency, what do I need the police for? Not a whole lot. I'm not saying we don't need any police. I'm not saying that I wish there were no cops, so when someone breaks into Nana's house, she's on her own. What I am saying is the amount of police we have that are just shitbags is too high. Tell you a story. I don't know if I've ever told this story before. I was on my way home from work one day, and I was driving my wife's car. I had taken my wife's car to my brother's house, and I had a bunch of tools and my floor jack and a bunch of stuff in her car, because I was working on my brother's car. And I got home late. It was a Sunday or whatever. I got home late, and I was like, I'll put the stuff away. I'll put the stuff away another day. Like, I'm not super worried about it. I forgot to put it away Monday. I think she drove her car Tuesday, whatever. I drove it. It was like a Wednesday, and I drove her car. And it still had the jack and everything in the bed. Or in the trunk. And I drive her car to work. I'm coming home. There's a man who's been run over by a truck, full-size Silverado, ran this man over. He was on a bicycle. So I'm on the phone with my mother because I'm going to meet my mother. We're gonna get food. We're gonna go eat something. I'm like, hey, let's go get Chipotle or whatever it was. And I'm like, we can. I might have got done early or something. I don't remember. I'm like, I'm on my way. I'm on my way through town. I'll be at Chipotle in a little bit. I'll meet you there. Like, I'll buy my treat. I tell her, I gotta go. I'll call you back. Throw the phone down. I run out. I grab my first aid kit. I immediately go to this dude. I start talking to him. He's there. He's present. He's clearly, he's in pain. He's distressed. I'm checking him for bleeds. I'm like, okay. I'm asking him, can you wiggle your toes? Everything works? Like, does anything feel broken? He's like, no, nothing feels broken. It's just, this truck's heavy and it's hot. Like, do something. Help me. So I get the jack and we slide him back from under the truck. Now, a lot of people will say you shouldn't do that because if there's a break and there's an internal bleed, like for example in his leg, if the bone were to have broken and cut the femoral artery, he could have bled out. And yeah, I understand that. But with everything that we'd been discussing, he was good. I had my tourniquet on me. If he did start looking pale, or if he started looking like there were symptoms of blood loss, we could have tourniqueted him. Kept him talking. He was there. He was panicking because he had just been hit by a fucking truck. But he was good. Probably a minor concussion. No serious broken bones or nothing. However, I was there for close to 15 minutes before the police showed up. This dude was already under the truck when I was there. I didn't see the impact. I don't know how long until I showed up before the impact was. The police showed up 15 minutes after me. I could have walked to the sheriff's department and back in 15 minutes. It was that close to the sheriff's department. It was that fucking close. I kid you not. I'm not exaggerating. It would have been a 5-minute walk each way to the sheriff's office. And it took 15 minutes to get an officer. And the police department for that city was only probably a 10-minute walk down the road. It took 15 minutes to get an officer on site. And the officer that's on site couldn't get out of his car without rocking back and forth to pick up momentum to get his fat ass out. The officer that showed up was such a disgrace to policing. And then he stood there while I did everything because he didn't know what to do. The dude didn't know what the fuck to do, so he stood there and watched me do everything. I've commanded and controlled this scene. I'm keeping people back. I'm dealing with the guy on the ground. This cop's just standing there looking at me. I'm like, dude, radio for an ambulance. What are you doing? And he's like, oh, there should be one on the way. And I'm like, should be? I'm like, dude, check, make sure. This guy needs a fucking ambulance. And then he checks on the radio. Hey, do we have an ambulance coming to this accident? Yeah, there's an ambulance coming. About 5 minutes after that, 2 cops show up that look like they should be cops, 30s fit, the kind of guy you want to see show up when you're fucking having your worst day. My point, though, is you have this dude that's 320 pounds on the police force that can't get out of his car in a timely manner. And he can't do anything. And he's useless. He can't even check the fucking radio. He's useless. These cops are not held to a standard. And this isn't a, oh, I hate cops. This isn't a, I'm mad at police officers thing. This is a, there are too many useless cops to put all your eggs in that basket. There are too many cops that are fucking morbidly obese. I'll give you another example. A few years back, I'm at the county fair with my buddy and my nephew, I think. My buddy and one of my nephews, I think, were there. We're watching Demolition Derby, and the sheriff's deputy that is, I guess you'd say, doing crowd control, the sheriff's deputy that's patrolling the grandstands, whatever, is about 65 years old, probably 260, 270 pounds, overweight, wearing a 1911 with 2 mags, and his belt, instead of sitting like this, is sitting like that because his gut is so big. How do you look at yourself in the mirror as a police officer and go, yes, I am responsible for public safety, and then look down and you can't see your toes? How do you do that? How do you do that? It appalls me that we have a system where the police officers are incentivized to harass people. The police officers are incentivized to write bullshit tickets. They're incentivized to be fat fucks. Or on the other side of the spectrum, you have the officer that tried to tell me I ran from him on my bike when I didn't, and is threatening to arrest me. Or you have the cop that, when my wife got in an accident, I showed up on the scene and he threatened to arrest me for being there, for checking on my wife. Dude's threatening to arrest me. This is my wife. If you think you're going to stop me from checking on my wife, you're going to need a lot more than you. But we have these officers that are so useless. And if you question their authority, I'm going to arrest you, I'm going to take you to jail. Is that all you got? Your ego's that brittle that if I talk to my wife to make sure she's okay, you're going to have me arrested? Your ego's that brittle? That's who's in charge of policing. That's who we allow to police our neighborhoods. Is someone who says that they're going to have you arrested because you show up and you ask what happened and you talk to your wife when your wife is in a serious accident. That's who we have. I'll put it like this. I'm tired of living in a world where I walk outside and there's a flock camera on every corner. Everything I do is recorded. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything and breathe free air. I get harassed by the police everywhere I go. It's a surveillance state. It's a mass police state. It's becoming everything they said it would when everyone said, oh, that's ridiculous. That'll never happen. Guess what, motherfucker? It's happening. It is indeed happening. I don't know how we fix this. I don't know how we stop this. But I do know that Benjamin Franklin hit the nail on the head when he said those that would give up a single bit of freedom for comfort deserve neither. I don't think that's the exact quote, but you get the gist. You get the gist. Or maybe it's we'll have neither. Either way, it applies. I don't know how we get out of this. I feel like I'm just stuck in the mud spinning tires here. I want out of this police state. I know there's a big movement against flock. That's a step in the right direction. A lot of police departments are taking down flock cameras. That's a step in the right direction. The next step is we have to get rid of the shitty cops. Most cops should be issuing warnings. Hey, slow the fuck down. Hey, put your phone down. Hey, don't do that. Cops should be issuing warnings, not just rampantly writing citations. And I asked the lady at the courthouse when we went to court for the mandatory appearance for the ticket that I got. I asked her, I said, hey, by chance, was it a trooper on whatever the fuck road it was I got pulled over on? And I remember. And she goes, no, but it was a younger trooper on this road. And I was like, huh. I bet you it was the same guy. And she was like, yeah, I don't remember his name. And I was like, ginger guy? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like the same guy. Sounds like the same guy. So this dude's just bebopping around town, pulling everyone over and writing the easiest ticket he can write. But he's sitting in a parking lot, not enforcing traffic laws, not going out and doing anything, not stopping people that are speeding. You know, I get on my bike, and everywhere I go, people expect me, because I'm riding a dirt bike, to be riding wheelies up and down the road. You're not stopping those people. You're not stopping the people that have made everyone think that whenever you see someone on a dirt bike, the appropriate response is, do a wheelie! You don't stop the people that do the wheelies up and down the road on their bikes. You don't stop the guy that decided to play chicken with me while I'm riding my dirt bike down the road. You don't stop those people. But instead, you pull over the single mom who was putting her phone on the charger. You're a piece of shit. Policing isn't about keeping you safe anymore. It's not. It hasn't been for a long time. Policing is about making the state money. That's all it's about. That's all it's been about for a long time. Maybe back in the day, back in the 60s and the 70s, maybe even in the 80s, it was, man, I want to help my community. I want to do something for the people around me. I'm going to be a cop. But in 2026, that ain't it. In 2026, it's I'm powerless and I'm weak and I want to feel strong. I'm going to go be a cop, because then nobody can argue with me, because I'll arrest them. I'll put them in jail if they argue with me. How dare you argue with me? That's what most cops are today. And it's unfortunate and it's sad. And we can fix it. We really can. If we stop saying masculinity is toxic. We can fix it, because here's the thing. When you say masculinity is toxic, don't be a cop because you're toxic for that. When you say being a cop makes you a bad person, well, I don't want to be a cop because I'm not a bad person. When you say being a cop makes you an abusive shitbag, well, I'm not an abusive shitbag. I don't want to be a cop if all these other guys are abusive shitbags. And most of them aren't. There's a high level of domestic abuse with police officers, but what a lot of people don't tell is it's the wives that are generally abusive to the police officers. But when I say there's a high level of domestic abuse among police officers, it sounds like cops are bad. I don't think most cops are bad. I think most cops aren't going to pull you over. Most cops are just going to let you do your thing. Most cops aren't going to bother you. But the one that pulls you over is the one that wants to feel powerful. The one that pulls you over is the one that got in an argument with his wife that morning and decided, I'm going to take it out on everyone. And he doesn't deserve to be a cop, because he's the one that is not toxically masculine. He's the one that decided, well, I want to be an asshole today because nobody gets along with me because I'm a dick. So I'm going to be the biggest dick I can be. That's not someone I want policing my neighborhood. That's not someone I want. The cop that threatened to arrest me for fleeing while I was on a dirt bike. I was sitting in my brother's driveway, by the way. I didn't flee if I'm sitting in my brother's driveway, a block away from where my brother got pulled over. If you haven't heard the story, long story short, my brother and I, my niece, my brother, myself, and my brother's brother-in-law are riding bikes down the road to get back to my brother's house Cop turns around at some point, follows us, lights everyone up. We made a left, right, and then a left into the driveway. So my niece and I made the left and then the right. The cop saw us make the left and then the right and said that we took off. If we took off, why am I here talking? He wrote me a completely false citation for operating a dirt bike with no insurance on the street. I operated a fully insured motorcycle. My bike's a dual sport bike. It is street legal. It's a dirt bike, yes, but it's a street legal motorcycle according to the registration. And that's completely legal. That's the way they're made. They're made that way for a reason. My bike's a completely legal motorcycle as far as the law is concerned. It checks all the boxes to be a motorcycle. They looked at a dirt bike. They said, what do we need to put on this to make it a motorcycle? And they put all that stuff on it from the factory. It has everything it needs to be a motorcycle. So I operated a motorcycle on a public street with insurance. I showed him my insurance. I showed him my registration. He wrote me the ticket anyway. He said, too bad, tell it to the judge. My niece then told me, we're all afraid of that guy at school because he's a raging asshole. I think her word for word was, he's a total dick. When the 15-year-old girl says, we're all afraid of that guy because he's a total dick, there's a problem. When the single mother says, I don't know how I'm going to pay this ticket because I was putting my phone on the charger, that's a problem. When policing gets to the point that all it's doing is fucking people over, it is screwing people left and right. What is the point? What is the fucking point? Why do we have cops? And I'm not saying we should have no police, but I'm kind of at the point where I think no police would be better than the police we have if the police we have are this corrupt. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to leave it there. The shit winds me up, so I'll leave it there. I will see you all in the next one. I'll talk to y'all later. I hope you